Passive income. Everybody wants and loves passive income. They want to make money while they sleep. Everybody says this on social media. Passive income, it is the greatest thing. Passive income is great. Okay, but let's get down to the specifics on how you can actually create passive income. In today's video, I'm going to share with you the number one industry for passive income. How you can specifically do it and what businesses you can start that are no business is entirely passive, okay? No investment, nothing is entirely passive, first off. But this is probably the closest you can get with the best ROI when it comes to passive income, okay? And this is the parking and storage industry. So parking means we're gonna have a storage lot that's usually gravel or asphalt, and we're gonna park tractor trailers, semi-trucks, RVs, boat storage, heavy equipment storage, construction equipment storage. This lot would have a gate around it, maybe some cameras, make it secure. People are willing to pay you $200 a month, $150 a month, $100 a month, depending on the piece of equipment and on how much space it takes up to store their stuff. So as long as you can build the lot, you can make money as you continue to fill it up. And a lot of these people, you just put them on automatic payment and they continue to pay you and you make tons of money. As you get further into this industry, you'll see self-storage, cold storage, frozen storage, internet storage, telecommunications. I know some places that actually will store servers for large companies in specific areas. There is so much money you can make in this industry where there is not a lot of delivery from a service perspective. That really the biggest delivery is building out the operation. A self-storage place is building out masonry buildings that have a garage, space to where people can put their junk in there. Again, it's on automatic payment. If you're going to get into this from the very beginning, it is very hard to buy into self-storage. Self-storage facilities cost a ton of money because it's based on the revenue. And if you can fill up the self-storage, the revenue is really high, you're going to buy it at about a 10 to 15% cap rate. So that's going to be very expensive for you to buy an existing one. For you to build an existing one is also going to be very expensive, and you need to have the right data to make sure that you have the right area. So what's a way in which you can get into the storage industry? Well, one way you could easily do it, even if you don't own property and you don't have money, here's a way in which you can do it. Get into the storage industry by starting with parking, okay? So at the very lowest level, let's say you're not going to lease a lot, you don't want to buy a lot, you're not going to do any construction. At the lowest level, what you can do is, wherever you're located, if there are big events or if there are big sporting events, you can actually talk to some business owners locally and say, hey, what would your thought be if I collected money for parking in your parking lot for the upcoming event? And I could share a percentage of my proceeds with you, right? Okay. So let's say they have 40 spots and you're charging $10 to park. That's $400. And you say, well, I'll give you 25%. Okay, that's $100. And then you go find 10 other people where you can charge to park in their parking lot, that you have their written consent, and you have all these parking lots. These people are making money, and they don't have to be out there. It's passive for them. It's a little bit more active for you, but it's a way for you to get into this, that in these events, you could be paying people to go out there and be collecting money. Okay, go find your friends, get a bunch of friends, say, hey, we're going to go door knock, and we're going to go talk to people about the local NBA game that's going on, or NHL game, whatever, and we're going to talk with them about paying them to use their lot for parking. Okay, so that's one surface level. You don't have to own anything. You don't have to have any money. You go talk to these people. You go out there and you go start hustling, knocking on doors, getting to know who owns these properties and collect money for them, and you can make money. Okay, so that's it, right? You're collecting money for the first hour that people are parking, and then you're leaving. You're getting out of there. So really, it's the first hour or two, you're making all your money, and then you're out of there. So if you have 3 lots, you're making $300 on it. It's $900 you just made, and you're out of there. So that's the first kind of introduction to parking, right? The next thing is you go find a vacant lot, and you can search on the county that you're in who owns the lot. Try to find a way to get in contact with them. ask the neighboring property, talk around, try to find a vacant lot or lots that are for sale that you can reach out to somebody and say, hey, would you be open to me buying this lot, owner financing, because it may be hard for you to get a loan, right? It may be hard for you to sum up the down payment to get a loan if the property is going to be, if an acre of land right now, 2 to 3 acres is like 300, 400 grand, depending on where you're located, maybe even more. So you're going to have 25% down on just land. So on a $400,000 piece of land, you're going to have 100 grand. Okay, maybe that doesn't make sense for you. Okay, look for owner financing and a potential lease. You could lease that land from them because they're not making money from it because it's just vacant or a vacant lot. See if you can lease that lot for them. Put a little bit of money into putting gravel down at a minimum or asphalt to build out that lot, potentially build a fence. You're going to have to put a little bit of money on this. You could potentially get a small business loan. But what you're doing here is you're creating an atmosphere in which you can charge for people to pay you monthly. And this is just a math equation. Like I've said, any sort of passive income business is a math equation, okay? Because there's not much you can do to really raise the revenue. There's a ceiling, right? If we have a 1 acre lot that we're charging for parking, we can divide it up by how many spots there are and how much somebody's willing to pay us. If that amount is not more than 15 to 20% based on your initial investment, then I wouldn't do it. Why do I use 15 to 20%? And this is how I look at all my passive income investments. If I put $50,000 into something, there's an opportunity cost. I could have put that $50,000 into the stock market and made 10 to 12% in the S&P 500. You look over the last 30 years, it's been 10%, right? Okay, so 50,000, I'm making 5. Very little risk in that, right? If I leave it in there for a long-term basis. Very little risk. Most passive income investment you could really make, right? Invest money in the stock market in an index fund or mutual fund. You don't look at it for 10 years. That's the most passive income. Nobody talks about it, but that's what it is. Okay, so if I'm putting that in there, that means I'm getting a 10% return, which is a $5,000 return every year. So whatever $50,000 I invest in a business or a passive income business or any sort of investment, I better be making more than 10% a year because it is riskier. There is more risk when I start this parking and storage business than if I put that money in the stock market. So I need risk pay. And risk pay should be at least 5 to 10%, if not more in my opinion, 10% more than what you could get if you invested that money in the stock market. So I should make, if I put $50,000 in my parking lot storage business, I should make $10,000. I should make 20%. I should make 15, maybe 20,000 back from that on a yearly basis on my cash flow. If I'm not making that, and there's no long-term approach in which I can really make way more the following year. It may take a while to get the vehicles in the storage, but let's just say at a 80% capacity, I better be making 20% on my down payment. If I'm not, then why am I doing it? Okay, so passive income investments are simply a math equation because there is an opportunity cost to other investments that are passive in nature, like investing in stock market. So once you've developed your parking lot storage, you understand how much you're going to make. The nice thing is you can take the proceeds from that because you're going to have this in an LLC, build business credit. So what that allows you to do is that once you've had this business for 2 to 3 years, you have credit and experience in your business. My business has been around for almost 4 years. We're profitable. We have money coming in. If I want to go get a business loan, I could walk into any bank and they'd say, "What do you want?" Right? You can't do that if you're a startup business or that you don't own a business because they don't trust that you have the ability to be a business owner. But once you have 2 to 3 years, you have a track record, you could take that business and say, okay, now I'm going to build a self-storage because self-storage, there's tons of money in and you can build that, put research money into finding the best location and getting into that business. Because self-storage, you can make 25 to 35% if it goes well based on the building costs. And even if you buy an existing one, you should be able to potentially raise the monthly rate and increase your cash flow. And then you can eventually sell it again down the road as it appreciates, as property values appreciate. What I'm trying to say is passive income, you should be making 20 to 30% investments if you are taking risk, which is what this is. But the parking and storage business, why I love it is because, and I would put car wash, self-service car washes kind of in this. It's not really parking and storage, but the thing I like about it is I don't have to be there and the money will continue to flow in. there is still some management. I still have to go make sure everything's being taken care of, that people's cars aren't being stolen, their trucks aren't being, destructed, and people aren't spraying painting and stuff. It's got to be managed properly, but I'm making more money than I would if I put it in the stock market. That requires me to have a little bit more work. So you see what I'm saying here. The reason I like it is because people always need a place to park their big stuff. They can't park their RV in their neighborhoods. They can't park their big rig trucks in the neighborhoods. And people want to have boats, and they'll pay for it, and they forget about it. People have so many things on recurring revenue payments that it's insane. And the nice thing I like about this business is that it's sellable. I would buy a parking lot storage business. You know why? Because I'm going to look at the revenue, and I'm going to say, let me see what's happened in the last 2 years. Great. The revenue is going to continue to flow in. We're not going to change anything. Ownership's going to change. The customers probably won't even know, and I can continue to make money based on ROI, at least 20% based on what I paid them. Okay? So whatever I paid them, I should be making 20%. So that's a business I would buy. It's a business that a lot of people would buy because people want to buy passive income businesses. So this is an industry that I would definitely pursue if you have any thoughts on doing that. And if you want to have a business idea or you want to dissect your current business, join a mentor group. I have a mentor group on my channel where we meet once a week from 8 to 9 p.m. We'd be happy to find space for you to join. And if you like today's video, please hit like and subscribe. Thank you.